So welcome to episode 9 of Gamify 24/7.
New episodes. We return.
Is there any mystical things with the number 9?
The nonary games. Yeah.
Is there?
There's games that I play that involve a thing called the nonary game.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Escape the Room games, Zero Escape series.
There you go.
Okay,
Nine, there we go.
I'm impressed with how quick that you were able to reference the number 9 in video games. So well done, Kat. 10 out of 10. Or should I say 9 out of 10? 9. All right. So this week we're going to talk less Switch. Although before we talk less Switch, let me just mention that I did go out and buy one. And, I don't regret my decision one bit. What a fantastic console! It is fabulous. And Zelda, I just did the mind-blown sign because I know, for those listening on the audio podcast won't understand the sound effect. But so anyway, it's brilliant. It's really good. I also got snipper clips, and that is just great fun. Really good. Really good.
Yeah. Glad to hear you enjoyed yourself, because I was getting a bit concerned because me and Shaun did hype all of it up a lot.
Honestly, I'm 100% convinced. I actually seen a guy at college playing it today as well. I'm 100% convinced this is the future of gaming. PlayStation, VR, or VR in general, and handheld hybrid devices. Scorpio, we'll talk about Scorpio in a little while, we're going to be talking about that. But Scorpio, I think Microsoft's left it too late to do anything about the hybrid device now. They've already went down that route. I think PlayStation 5 could go a Switch style route with a hybrid device.
We're going to come on. We're going to come on to the discussion about Scorpio, and you can fill me in a bit more on the information because I'm quite behind on my knowledge, my Scorpio knowledge. So that'll be quite good for me. Also, we had a request last week from Paul, one of our listeners, to include a little bit more Xbox. Hello, Paul. And he said, could you maybe mention a few more kind of Xboxy type things? So we're going to look at that. I've got a list of some of the releases that are coming out too. But before all that, let's talk about. It's been billed as possibly the biggest flop of the last few years when it comes to releases, according to 2 or 3 reviews I've seen. Other people are loving it. There's been a hate campaign online about it for one of the lead artists. It's been just one of the strangest releases. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. We all just looked at each other like,
I never played the originals, but I know obviously they're well known amongst gamers, and the ending of Mass Effect 3 kind of ruined it for a lot of people. I think there's been a bit too much pressure probably being on this one, being the big redemption thing. So I think when you start putting that much pressure on, although Zelda was like that, but you start putting a lot of pressure on devs to make the best game ever or fix all the errors. And I think people have got maybe.
I don't know though. If you think about things like Star Wars, how originals great, then they did those 3 that were not great. Well, that's up to you to decide. But then they kind of redeemed themselves a bit with like Force Awakens and Rogue One and everything. Everything's kind of rebooting in a really positive way. Yeah. They could have done that. They had this whole universe of races and different like history. They had such a rich lore with Mass Effect, but they've kind of gone and fallen back into old habits, and I think that's kind of what reviewers have been saying as well. It's just that there's a lot of deja vu to it, as well as there's some bits that are just great, and then some bits are just like. What's
disappointed me mostly with it is that I was really into Mass Effect, particularly Mass Effect 2, and storyline is the big thing for me when it comes to Mass Effect, because it's great going through different planets, but there is a sameness to that in the end because of restrictions. But what really disappointed me was reading the reviews and seeing what people have said, because I haven't had a chance to play it. I've only seen some footage, and I know we've got the obvious issues we've read about the facial stuff as well, which is coming to for a lot of criticism. I could see past all that if the storyline was brilliant, but it seems like the biggest criticism they're getting, apart from the facial stuff, is the storyline.
Yeah, and the characters kind of being nothing that special, a bit kind of samey as the previous games. You kind of got the rough Krogan and the Curian with the eye patch or whatever. It's kind of like.
The sad thing is even though they spent 5 years making this game, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but it kind of feels like they've rushed it. Like the animations looks like they've taken shortcuts and doing everything like that, and it just feels a bit rushed. What's a shame.
You know, I think when you go back years ago to the games back in the past, if you showed someone something like Mass Effect Andromeda, even with the story, I'm pretty sure people would be like, that's incredible. But the expectations, again, they're overinflated for everyone now. We're expecting big Hollywood blockbusters, and games have come along and they've lived up to that hype or that expectation. So now when something like a big game, Mass Effect Andromeda from EA comes out, is EA?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
EA.
Bioware.
Yeah, when something like that comes along, you're expecting the top end of everything, graphics, sound, animations, everything, storyline. So when they get these things wrong, you know, it's easy to pick it apart. I've not played the game, so I don't know. As you said, there's mixed reviews. It's going both ways. Some people loving it, some people hating it. But that goes back to the Force Awakens and stuff, like the Star Wars. Some people hated that. I thought it was brilliant, but some people hated it because it was too samey. You know, so I think a lot of these reviews. This is the very hard part with reviewing games. You start giving stuff scores based on your opinion, and it's just an opinion. So I always find it hard to give something a score.
Yeah, having done reviews professionally, that was definitely an issue, because I could think something was horribly tiresome because I literally had to sit for 2 days straight and play it and do everything I possibly could, even though I didn't want to do it. And that kind of does skew your view a little bit. It's hard to be objective when you're absolutely sick of a game, but at the same time, like, they're trying to be objective, they're trying to do their job, and then they're trying to be honest about it, I guess. And
I think with something like this, I think you really need to play these games yourself and judge it for yourself. I think, you know, if the reviews were coming in and saying it was 4 out of 10 or something, then maybe I'd be a bit worried. But if it's 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that, you know,
I'll play an 8 quite happily. 8's
give
quite
it a shot and see what's like, because the chances are it might resonate with you and you'll really enjoy it.
Well, some people really give, like, what was it? Was it GTA 5 that got 10 out of 10 on GameSpot? And I was like, oh my god, what? And GTA 4 I think actually got 10 out of 10, and I was like, whoa, and got it, and I was like, that's okay. But the reason I was like that, and it's great and everything, I'm not going to dispute that Grand Theft Auto series is amazing, but they're just not my type of games. Like, they're not my favourite kind of games. So if I had been reviewing it, I wouldn't have given it 10 out of 10 just because it's, personally, I'm like,
So go and have a go, give it a play for yourself, but maybe wait till it comes down in price a bit if you're not too bothered about it, because I think that's the thing for me as well. You get games that some of my favourite games of all time aren't necessarily brilliantly reviewed games, but you know, they just strike a chord with me for whatever reason. So I'm kind of with you guys, you know. It is a shame though, and it's a shame that there was the online abuse as well, that one of the mistaken, I don't know if you saw the story, but one of the artists who was targeted as being the lead artist for the facial animation, she was mistakenly identified as a lead artist, and she received a lot of abuse, and sadly I mean, we could talk about that for hours, but it sort of veers off into you know, all sorts of talking points just on that, on why she was receiving the abuse. But it's such a shame when, you know, nobody can really know the story about why you know, how a company has come to the decision about facial animation, for example. You can't be singling out one person for that. So that was a real shame for me that it's kind of descended into that, and I think there was a statement put out that, you know, saying that it's always unacceptable to do that. But go and play it for yourself and make up your own mind about it. I hope that there's a lot of people out there that do like it, because it's such a shame. Mass Effect was still one of my favourite series, you know.
Good.
I think that's something I'd like to talk about during a future episode, is the industry in general, that kind of stuff.
Insidious.
Where people
horrible things
like that kind of stuff getting abused online for making a game. It's like, man, it's just a game. Man.
I think there's a lot of bitterness with people after the third one. I have a little bit of a grudge in me still for that, to be honest, because the first one was so good. But
it wasn't you, was it?
It was. I wasn't involved. I'm not a bad person. I haven't even played it, so no, I have no reason.
I think just this factor of time really emphasises, like, if there's a flaw, it gets blown out of proportion. The whole rest of the game, gameplay, nobody's talking about that. The gameplay could be absolutely fantastic.
The only clip I've actually seen without looking it up myself on Facebook was just a video people were sharing of somebody running in it, and they were like doing like this little crab run, like their legs were like going. It was just like, I don't know if it was a glitch or if somebody was just doing like the controller wrong and stuff, but it looked ridiculous in the middle of a firefight. Somebody like skating about like tiny little steps.
Like
and I was just like, it was a bit like that, but like really fast steps, and it just looked ridiculous. And I was like, this is my first impression of this game, and that's what people are seeing on the internet. It's not that good, but.
Well, there we go. Mass Effect Andromeda, it's out. You can go and play it for yourself, and it's on pretty much everything apart from the Switch. So we're not going to talk about the Switch here. So, go check it out.
You said you wouldn't even mention the word.
I know. 10 points, 10-point deduction. Right, we're going to talk in a moment about the Xbox Scorpio, but before that, I've got a wee list of some exclusive games coming to the Xbox One, and I just wanted to run through a couple of these and very quickly just mention the names of them and see if they either strike a chord or if I give you anything from the images that I have, because this is the difficulty for me, is I don't have an Xbox One. So...
any of us?
Yeah, I think...
Yeah. I'm rocking the Xbox.
I don't. You're the rep now.
Easy Xbox.
Okay, so Anton, you're going to have to jump in here. But funnily enough, Shaun, you said that you did. I did too. But therefore, we both decided to get rid of our Xbox One. So I don't know what story that tells.
Bias.
Well, I'll tell you exactly why I did it, but we're going about some of the releases anyway,
Yeah, me too. And it's not that I don't like the console, it's just it didn't work for me. But anyway, State of Decay 2 is the first one on the list of exclusives. It looks like a kind of, I don't know, it looks like a kind of end of world type game, I guess, Anton?
I think I remember seeing that at a conference. Was it at E3 last year, by any chance?
So look out for that. The initial art shots look stunning, and it does look like a kind of apocalyptic type, perhaps zombie type thing. I'm not sure, but it looks interesting. So that's one to check out.
That sounds quite new then. I've not seen like a zombie apocalypse type of game. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of like, just imagine what The Walking Dead would be like as a video game. Yeah. It's like that, just survival. Like you're fighting against humans at points, you're fighting against zombies. That that's kind of like a normal scavenging. Yeah.
I thought we were being sarcastic there. Did I miss something?
Well, that was to be like.
Okay, I thought we were all being sarcastic. Like, imagine a zombie game. Like, what? And also imagine a Walking Dead game. Like, imagine if they made that. Yeah. No,
sarcasm's lowest form of wit. Really?
Yes. Clearly, I don't get it. So too high.
Well, look, if you've got an Xbox and you're looking for exclusives, look out for that one. Another one that's coming out is Gigantic, which looks like a kind of cutesy animated type game. I'm not really sure. Do we know anything about that, Anton?
I remember seeing the logo, and it was a beautiful logo. I can't remember anything else.
Judging it purely by its cover, then.
Great logo. 10 out of 10 logo.
I would back that up with the screenshot. Looks like it's potentially a lot of fun. It reminds me of a kind of almost Banjo-Kazooie type artwork, maybe slightly more serious, but not much. Crackdown 3, I don't know if any of you guys have played any of the other Crackdowns. I've played a bit of one, and it was okay.
This is the most mediocre chat.
Xbox represent.
These are kind of Xbox games, aren't they?
Exclusive.
So it's games that are like, unless I come at something else, probably haven't stumbled across them.
Right, well, we got a couple more then, and if any of these work for you, let me know. Sea of Thieves, this looks good. This
what was
good.
that? Was that the one?
Retro.
Is this E3 again? Am I channeling E3? Was this the kind of piratey
yes,
one?
That's exactly what it looks like.
I thought that looked good at E3, so yes, that's good.
If you've got an Xbox, I had this question from a guy called Phil today. He said he doesn't play a lot of Xbox, but he's got one and he really wants to increase on his library. He wants to add some games to it, some new titles. I think if you've ever played Pirates, I would check this out. Sea of Thieves looks like it could be along that vein. It looks good as well. I like the look of that.
Just out of curiosity, wasn't Sea of Thieves announced not last E3 but the E3 before?
No, because I'm sure it was the E3 that just happened last year.
Yeah,
like for some reason in my head it seems like it was way longer, and at the time I thought, that looks quite cool, because at the time I had the Xbox One S. I thought that looks quite cool, I get it. And then it seemed like it was taking ages and getting, like, I don't know if it was delayed or something, but then I just kind of went off the boil.
There was E3. I haven't heard anything from it since, but again, I don't pay attention generally to Xbox exclusives. But
is Rare going to live up to its old Is it got rid of all the people anyway? So
yeah, I think it's an Atari situation where all the people who used to be there are no longer there.
The Stamper Brothers, bring them back!
Talking about, if you're looking for a rare cell game on Xbox One, we've got Yooka-Laylee coming along. That's also on PS4 and Switch. It's kind of just Banjo-Kazooie done with modern day graphics. It looks stunning and it's really cheap. It's like £28 day one 3D platformer.
I'll be definitely on that. I'm really looking forward to that one, got to be honest. We've got Halo Wars 2 as well. I mean, I like Halo. I'm a fan of Halo. Halo Wars, I haven't played, but for me, it's not... I don't think I would probably go there, but I could completely understand it for those who like the more kind of tactical thing. Any of you guys?
It's an RTS type of game, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen the first one. I think I had a shot at the demo or something. And recently, that Corix game by Stellar VR, the one I was telling you about, the VR game, that's a real-time strategy tower defense type game. So I was actually really enjoying that, and I can imagine with the Halo universe in that style of game, it'd be really quite cool, managing your elite forces and everything. It'd be quite special.
The new Halo Wars, it's, if you played the first Halo Wars, and if you're not really looking for if you're not really craving that more like RTS on a console, it's probably a passable game. But if you've never played Halo Wars 1, it's just as good, and it's just more of the same. So if you liked Halo Wars 1 and are still craving that, go for it. It's just more of the greatness.
Cool, awesome. We've got one more exclusive for you coming out, which is Cuphead, which is like the early Mickey Mouse animated thing.
Gorgeous.
I just remember that. Yeah, that looked so cute.
This looks cool.
Announced at last E3 or was that before that?
Oh, that was like 4 years ago.
Because I remember, I'm sure that I saw stuff like when I was at Gamescom years ago. That was kind of a thing.
But it's all like, is it all hand drawn and everything, isn't it? It's like
it's so lovely.
So Cuphead exclusive to the Xbox One and Windows 2, so you'll get it on there. But yeah, I think for me it's very much like the early Disney animation, the kind of Mortimer. Before Mickey Mouse, before Mickey was Mickey and he was Mortimer. It's that kind of very early animation, hand-drawn, beautiful looking game. Really excited to see what that's like. Anton, because you're our Xbox aficionado, if Phil, who was chatting to me today about what games to get, if he was to go out and buy 3 games tomorrow, and I'm giving you free rein here, what 3 games would you give somebody who is not necessarily an avid gamer, but who likes the odd shooter now and then, likes to play a bit of Xbox? Is there 3 games that you could recommend?
Yes, easy peasy. I think first title I'd pick up, the Halo Master Chief Collection. You can find it for maybe like £10 to £15 these days.
One game though, that's 5 games.
If it comes in one box, it's one game.
Yeah.
One game.
So you get Halo 1 through 4, you get... Oh,
nice. For those in the audio podcast, Shaun is now currently holding up what looks like a collector's edition of Halo.
Oh, sorry, this is just Halo 5 Guardians.
Yeah,
so
Halo 5.
I feel standing.
It still looks cool from here. So
yes. For next title, you've got the Rare Replay Collection. That's 17 classic Rare games, and they're all really good. And that's a game you can also find for like a tenner these days.
That's got Bad Thursday and everything.
Yes, indeed. Then to close off with another exclusive, Sunset Overdrive. Fast-paced, action, open world, colourful, so rich in character. It's just... It's so distinct, like you can just see like a image and you'll be like, that's a Sunset Overdrive screenshot. It's so distinct from anything else, and really fun and incredibly fast paced, what I love.
Fantastic.
It kind of reminded me of Jet Set Radio when I saw it.
Oh yes, I love that.
With the grinding
original
on rails and all that.
Jet Grind Radio as they called it in Japan, sorry.
Yeah, interesting. All right, okay, that sounded sarcastic. It wasn't meant to be. I genuinely found that interesting.
Got a lot of sarcasm in this one, eh?
I know. Before we move on, fact for you, Mr. Bean in Asia, do you know what he's known as?
Mr. P.
No, he's known as... I've forgotten the name. I forgot what he was known as. What was it? I spoke about this today. He's known as Mr. Foolish Bean.
Really?
I like Mr. P better than that.
Okay, moving on then. Xbox Scorpio, there's been some updates this week. Guys, what's the latest?
Well, we're going to find out much more at E3, aren't we? We're going to find out much more information. Microsoft's they brought their conference a day forward to the very first day of E3, so they're obviously going to have a big event about it. Looks like it's going to be the most powerful games machine ever made.
Teraflop!
But isn't most machines the most powerful? Apart from the Switch, but anyway.
You get a teraflop. You get a teraflop.
Oh,
teraflops for everyone.
Give me all the 6 teraflops. Yeah, basically, what is it? We've got the PlayStation 4 just now, PlayStation 4 Pro, which is at 4 point something teraflops. So, that's a beast of a machine. There's going to be 6 teraflops. Everyone's going to be teraflops. There's going to be this, that, and everything. But the thing is, in the grand scheme of things, it's still nowhere near as powerful as a PC, and that's where I think Microsoft's going into the PC side of things. So I think if it was focused on a console, it could work quite well. I'm just not that excited about it.
To be honest, I think it's more of a new console than they're letting on. Because if you look at the PS4 Pro, and that the PS4 is more powerful than an Xbox One, games that are designed for PS4 Pro, they're not really taking that much advantage of it besides being 4K. So I don't know. I think they're going to have to do a lot more games.
PS4 Pro was not like a new console. That was kind of just an upgrade. Whereas the Scorpio is like, I don't see where it fits currently in this current thing that we've got going on. I don't see how that. It's not like an upgrade of an Xbox One. It's a new thing entirely. But I don't see how it fits in yet.
Yeah.
I don't see it garnering that much hype, because
I just think Microsoft ruined it by doing it so early. I know they were trying to compete with the PlayStation 4 Pro and PlayStation VR and everything, but it just seems too soon.
It was too soon because they didn't even have did they have a working prototype then?
No.
I don't think so. It was just kind of like lots of close-up shots of
and
chips and little bits from inside a computer and stuff, and
they
it's
didn't
like,
even
wow.
give any good information in there.
No.
Half of it was just talking about
It was just
teraflops. The other
hardware
half was just
teraflops.
nonsense, like it's got the prettiest pixels in the world. I'm like, sure you do. You have the best pixels. Sure, Microsoft.
Yeah, VR ready, all this stuff.
I think part of the problem with that though was it was Microsoft's answer to combat the PlayStation 4 Pro. I think it was steal some thunder away from that and the PlayStation 4 Slim. It was their way of just saying, well, we've got something coming as well. And I don't think they had much details on it, except for, of course it's going to be a beastie machine. It's coming from Microsoft. It's the next machine. They're going to obviously hype it up. But apart from that, yeah, but they didn't know anything.
But if it's a whole new thing, then it's kind of like if I had an Xbox One, I'd be annoyed because I'd be like, why did I do that?
This is why I got rid of the Xbox One S, because I got it just before Christmas, and I had to send it back for an issue. And then I debated in my head. I was like, well, I've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, I've got VR now, and what do I really need it for? There wasn't that much exclusives on it that made it justified to get it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to hold off because the Scorpio is going to come out. I'll wait and see what that's like. If that's like as cheap as what they're saying it's going to be, which I highly doubt, I think it's going to be about £600. If it comes out at £300 or something, I might get that, and then I'll have the complete setup: PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox Scorpio, and the Switch.
No, I don't think it's going to be cheap.
Yeah,
No.
So final word on the Xbox Scorpio then. Let's hope it's not a terrible flop. Hey.
Oh, very nice.
You've been reading my joke book again.
I've been sitting on that for the last 5 minutes waiting for the perfect prime time to say it. Retro Corner.
Yes, it's back to me this weekend. You know, the first game I told you about, Shenmue, was one of my favourite games of all time. It's not my favourite game of all time though. And Streets of Rage 3 was good and everything, or Streets of Rage 2, sorry. But the game I'm going to talk about right now, if you're watching the video podcast eventually, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's this bad boy right here. It wasn't actually this one here, because this is the GameCube version, which is Phantasy Star 1 and 2. But it was Phantasy Star Online on the Sega Dreamcast. This game to me, it was like one of the best games I've ever played. I must have put in about 600 hours into this, playing it. I was just constantly playing it. It was the Dreamcast, for anyone that doesn't really know about the Dreamcast, I think we've discussed it before. You know, the Dreamcast was kind of way ahead of its time when it came out. It was like one of the first consoles that done proper online gaming, and you could go in the browser, you could go online with it and everything, browse the internet, and it just done really well for a console. Obviously PCs could do all this, but it was the first proper console that did it. The machine itself was amazing, but this game came out, and it came out in 2000 in Japan, 2001 in North America and Europe, like the start of the year. So it was kind of towards the end of the Dreamcast life, but I think I got about a year of play out of it. But the game itself, you're basically, I've got like the actual story here and everything. Some really unique things they did with it. The story, I'll just give you a rough rundown of the story, was 7 years after Pioneer 1 lands on Ragol, that's the planet, Pioneer 2 is set out, and basically they're going out to search for planets to habitat because the Earth's been destroyed, or the mystical Earth, whatever it is. And when they get there, there's a big massive explosion, so the habitat that they're going to be going to, there's a big explosion, they're not sure what it is. You end up going down to the planet to find out what it is. So that's what the whole game is, you're trying to work it out. And along the way you stumble across like the indigenous species of the planet Rigol, and it's basically like an RPG type game, an online RPG type game, and you're building up your character. So you've got different races, you've got Rakos, Rakast, and I can't remember what the other ones are called, but I was like one of the, I think it was the Rakast ones I was. But you could build up your character and level them up to 100, and you got money, you could trade, you got cool weapons, typical sort of fare that you see in all RPGs just now, online ones. But one of the things that I loved about it was it was like an online one where you could play with Japanese players, American players, European players, and you could all go into the same server, and you could play the game and just join up. And I remember when it came out in Japan, I think we got a trial here in the UK. I remember jumping on for the first time. The Japanese guys had been playing for about 3 months beforehand, so I jumped on. They're all like level 50s already and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, man. But that was like one of the best things that happened, because even though people were Japanese, you had a keyboard so you could type, so you could work out from emoticons, you could work out what the person was kind of saying, so it's smiley face and everything. So you could type on like the online keyboard and everything. I think a keyboard eventually came out for the Dreamcast. So you'd go on, and you'd go in there, you'd be a level 1, and this is what I always recall. This to me was the defining part of Phantasy Star Online, and something that I've never managed to achieve a game, which is a bit sad. Maybe it's just like one of these first time things. But I remember going on there when I was like level 1 or 2 character, really low level, and jumping down to the planet and getting wasted because I was just like so underpowered. And I remember going online, there was guys from Japan, and they would say to you to come down with them instead, and they'd protect you. So you would go down to the planet with these guys that are level 40s and 50s, and you'd go in and you'd be getting wasted by the baddies, but they would heal you, so they'd be healing you, and you'd be like, oh yes, I'm surviving. So you go through and you get to bosses and everything, and they'd be dropping money for you. They'd say, here, take this, it'll help you to build up your level, and you'd be leveling up. And it was such a really good game for community. And the reason why it's Phantasy Star Online 1 instead of like 2 or 3 or whatever, because there's a couple of different versions that came in now, was it never had the battle mode in the very first version. They introduced the battle mode in version 0.2, I think it was, or version 2 of Phantasy Star Online, and that allowed you to fight against each other. And then you got loads of hackers started coming in, and they worked out a way where they could like kill you and steal your gear and everything. So it kind of took a bit of the fun. It was a bit annoying, but yeah, that was like one of the things about trading. You stuff like you like the way it was set up was someone would say, okay, I'll buy this weapon from you, and you'd say how much for. This stuff is hilarious when I think about it. You'd say how much for, and they'd say Meseta was the currency. So you'd say, okay, it's like 500 Meseta, and you'd say cool. So you'd say, right, you drop your weapon, and you say, right, you drop the money then. And so you'd be standing away from each other. It was like a shootout or something. So you drop your money and they drop their weapon, and you'd say, right, let's go at the same time. So then you start running towards your stuff, and sometimes they would grab their money or their weapon before you got yours, and you'd be like, come back, and they'd run away. So it was like really, really silly. But there was a couple other things that introduced it. The game itself ran off Switch Internet Beats time. Do you know what that is?
No.
So in Switzerland, they introduced a time that was separate from like daylight saving time and stuff, and it works out it was 86.4 seconds in every minute every beat time. So every beat is 86.4 seconds. So there's 1,000 beats in a day. So it was a way that they could synchronize it from different places in the world. So at any point you could say we're on beat 100, and it's the same everywhere because it's on beats. So you could line up things, you could sync up and stuff. But the game utilised the internet beats thing. So there was things that incorporated into the game where weapons, for instance, one of my favourite weapons, just because it sounded cool and it looked cool as well, was called the Heaven Punisher, and it only worked on every 4 beats of internet time.
Okay.
So you'd be using it, it was just a crappy gun normally, but every 4 beats it would kick in, and when you fired it, beams of lightning would come from the air, like the skies, and rain down across all the enemies. You're like, this is so badass. So yeah, it was just stuff like that. It was just amazing. It was just a really cool story. You'd go in, you'd find out what happened. You were fighting dinosaurs, monsters, or dragons, whatever. But it was just such an amazing game, and I think that back in the day, if I looked at it now, it probably got terrible now. But going back to it, it was just such a phenomenal game. It was a big part of my life for a year, and it was one of the first games that did it properly for consoles. Now everyone's doing it. I think you can get Phantasy Star Online 2 now, which is in Japan. But people have made like UK servers or American servers, so you can go and install, play it in English. But you've got to go through a bit of rigmarole to get it set up. And there's still people to this day, because the Dreamcast had the modem and the broadband adapter, which sells for a fortune. But because people had that, people are still playing the original Dreamcast version.
Really?
They've set up new rooms so you can play it. It's so cool. I've been tempted to go on it.
I was just looking. I've actually just been doing a wee search on some of the images because I wanted to see what it looked like. Yeah. And you know what? It still looks pretty good. And not just that. The first thing I saw was a search when you search in Google, was people searching for the current rooms that are available. So it's clearly still a thing, you know. And it doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah, I think it was one of that along with Shenmue. In fact, like the Dreamcast had loads of defining games. Like they set a lot of sort of benchmarks, but I think that was like a big sort of first, because it came out on the first sort of console version, and that set the groundwork for a lot of other consoles doing online RPGs. So now they're like the standard. But yeah, the Dreamcast was one of the best ones that did it, at the start. So I think, for that reason alone, it's my favourite game of all time, just because I put so much time into it and invested into it, and I love that game. But yeah, it's like that's probably going to be something. If you ever get a chance to play it, if you've got a Dreamcast and you can play it or something, if you can find the servers and hook it all up, give it a shot, because it's really, really good fun. And I don't know what the people are like now playing in the servers, but I think they're probably quite dedicated to the game, so they'll probably be really good to play with, good fun, and something along with the thing that I was saying about protecting you. And I can recall when I got to a level 100, or even when I was like level 90 and stuff, I done the exact same. So I went in and I was bringing younger players into the rooms with me. I was saying, come with me and I'll protect you. So I was there was guys that level 20s and I was protecting them. I was giving them weapons. And it was just a really cool game for that community factor. But yeah, it's like I'm saying, there's probably games, something like Destiny now, reminds me a lot of Phantasy Star Online, but Destiny's trying to be really cool and really sort of quirky and stuff, whereas Phantasy Star Online, it was just a game, and it wasn't like pushing the amazing graphics or anything like Shenmue or something. It was just kind of simplistic, but it was just really, really good fun. It focused on the gameplay part, was amazing. So yeah, that's my retro game. It's probably my favourite game ever.
Awesome.
Ooh, much passion.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's great. I love hearing stories of personal connections to games, because I think that's the big part of why we all play games, is that you have that connection. You can get lost, it's escapism, it's all these things. You can get lost in a world, and when you invest so many hours into a game, it's not just a game, it becomes part of your psyche forever. You'll always remember that time in your life when every time this game's mentioned. And I think that's why it's such an important part of culture, and for us as well, and probably why we love talking about it too. But really interesting, and I'm going to check it out as well. I'd love to have a go. I don't have a Dreamcast currently. I've had a couple over the years. And
it's hard to get a Dreamcast now. It costs a fortune.
Well, exactly. So
we should get a Dreamcast, or even if we get some way of playing it, but we should get a room set up for us.
Oh,
for
yes.
Gamify, a room, and we should set it up.
Oh, yes. Get all that multiplayer going.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because one of my memories is when I work, and this is very quick because we're running out of time now. But when I was I used to work on a cruise ship, very, very briefly for a few months, and there was very little in the way of internet connectivity on a cruise ship in 2005, right? But what we did have was a bunch of old PCs. So they set up a room where they had a multiplayer game going with them all linked of Doom. And it was incredible because you used to go there in time out when you had some time on your own or whatever, you had time to kill. And there was always 2 or 3 people there, no matter what you were doing. Yeah. And in good days, you'd have like six of us playing at the same time. And it was such a great bonding experience, although I was terrible. Never was great. I never quite mastered Doom. Loved Doom, but never quite mastered it. But great fun. So really good, really interesting. I'm going to check it out as well. And that's pretty much it. The last thing I was going to quickly mention, because we haven't mentioned the Switch all the way through, I'm going to mention this very quickly. Splatoon on the Switch.
Oh, yeah, the global test fire.
We've got the test the 24th to the 26th of March. So I'm going to be on there. I'm thinking we should get a game going while we've got that. We've all got Switches. That could be fun. It looks great. I'm colorblind. Could be a problem, but I think I'm okay because they're two very distinct colours every single time.
Love to use that to advantage. To say, like, when you're on the opposing team, but Michael, you're my colour. Oh, really?
Trust me, you will not need to use tricks in order to beat me, so that's fine.
I will still use tricks.
But we should definitely.
I think they did have a colourblind mode in Splatoon 1.
Really?
I believe so. I think they just upped the contrast between the colours. So
okay, that's cool.
I think they've accommodated for that. So
well, I looked at the screenshots because it concerned me slightly, obviously, with the whole idea behind Splatoon being based in colours. But the good thing is they've been quite clever in that the colours they're using have huge contrasts. So I think for most people it's going to be fine. And I'm quite high on the colorblind spectrum, but I think that I'm actually going to be okay with this because I've watched various clips now, and I think it's going to be fine. So that's 24th of March to 26th. I've got the beta, so you can download it right now. Nothing will happen if you download it, but it'll be there ready to go, and you can play it between the 24th and 26th, and I think you can pre-order it now, but it looks great. I'm looking forward to having a go this week.
Do you think Michael realises that he's sitting in a green room?
Yeah.
I thought it was blue.
Just to add to that as well, we'll be doing, when you see this, obviously the test file will be coming up at the weekend. We'll have to choose a day, but I think on Friday as well, we're going to be doing, here in the Games Lounge in the studio, we're going to be doing a live session with Stellar VR for Corix, with PlayStation VR Frank and Mark, the developer. So it'll just be a quick stream, about 30 minutes or 20 minutes or something, just to check out a couple of the actual online versus levels. So stay tuned for that. But obviously we'll do the Splatoon one as well. We'll get that hooked up as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Well, that's it for episode 9. So that's just, we're almost into double figures. In fact, this time next week we will be on double figures of Gamify 24/7, which is very exciting. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy the Switch. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I say Switch because that's what we're going to be playing this week. But for everyone else, hope you enjoy some of the Xbox suggestions that Anton threw your way too, and some of the exclusive. Check them out too. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah, and as always, let us know what stuff you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
If it's something you want us to send us your comments or your questions, and we can maybe answer them whilst we're here or whatever. So yeah,
sounds like a plan.
Brilliant. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.
Au revoir.